History is full of strange and unexplainable moments. Battles rage, empires fall, and humanity strives to make its mark on the world. But what if I told you some events are so coincidental they'll leave you questioning reality itself? From eerily similar assassinations to unbelievable twists of fate, we find ourselves drawn to these mysteries like moths to a flickering flame. Join me as we delve into the most incredible coincidences in history, moments so improbable they seem almost scripted. Let us begin our exploration with one of the most famous coincidences of all time, a story woven into the fabric of American history. It involves two of its most revered leaders, both struck down in their prime: Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, a man who guided his nation through the turmoil of civil war, and John F. Kennedy, the young, charismatic leader who embodied hope and progress. Both men were tragically assassinated while serving as US presidents, their lives cut short by assassins' bullets. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846, Kennedy precisely 100 years later in 1946. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy. Kennedy a secretary named Lincoln. Both were shot on a Friday in the presence of their wives. Both assassins, John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, were known by three names and were killed before they could stand trial. And here's the most chilling parallel. Lincoln was shot in Ford's theater while Kennedy was shot in a car made by... You guessed it, Ford. Coincidence or something more? I leave it to you to decide. The year is 1898. Author Morgan Robertson puts pen to paper, crafting a tale of maritime hubris and disaster. His novel, titled The Wreck of the Titan, tells the story of a colossal, seemingly indestructible ocean liner deemed unsinkable. But fate, it seems, has other plans. On a fateful night, shrouded in fog, the Titan collides with an iceberg, plunging to the depths of the Atlantic. 14 years later, reality would eerily imitate art. The RMS Titanic, a ship strikingly similar in size and design to the fictional Titan, sets sail, carrying the dreams and aspirations of its passengers towards the new world. Just like its fictional counterpart, the Titanic is hailed as the epitome of safety, a marvel of engineering deemed unsinkable. But on a cold April night, the unthinkable happens. The Titanic, defying the odds, collides with an iceberg, mirroring the fate of the fictional Titan. The parallels are uncanny, sending shivers down the spines of those who draw the connection. Both ships were deemed indestructible, both met their end on an April night, and both tragedies resulted in a significant loss of life. How could Robertson have foreseen such a catastrophe with such chilling accuracy? Was it pure coincidence, a random alignment of creative thought and real-world events? Or was it something more, a premonition perhaps? A whisper from the universe hinting at the fragility of even our most ambitious creations? Mark Twain, the beloved American author famed for his wit and insightful observations on life, is also at the center of our next intriguing coincidence. Born Samuel Clemens in 1835, he adopted the pen name Mark Twain, a term used by riverboat pilots to signify a safe depth of water. It seems Twain's life was intertwined with celestial events from the start. Halley's Comet, a celestial wanderer that graces our skies every 76 years, made its appearance in 1835, the very year of Twain's birth. The comet, a blazing spectacle in the night sky, seemed to herald the arrival of the future literary giant. Twain himself seemed to acknowledge this cosmic connection. "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year, and I expect to go out with it," he famously quipped. True to his word, in 1910, as Halley's Comet made its return, illuminating the night sky once more, Mark Twain's light flickered and dimmed. The world mourned the loss of a literary icon, a man who had entertained and enlightened generations with his words. Was Twain's prediction simply a coincidence, a whimsical observation that aligned perfectly with the course of his life? Or was there something more to it, an almost mystical connection between the writer and the celestial wanderer that shared his birth year? Chapter 4. The Twin Brothers and the Same Taxi. Our journey into the heart of coincidence takes us to Bermuda. In 1975, a young man is killed by a taxi. A year later, his twin brother meets the same fate. The same taxi, the same driver, and the same passenger. What are the odds? A stark reminder of fate's capricious nature. Chapter 5. Napoleon and Hitler's Parallels. Our exploration of historical coincidences takes us from the realm of personal tragedies to the grand stage of global conflict. In a strange twist of history, two figures who shaped the destiny of nations separated by over a century find their lives intertwined in a series of striking parallels. Napoleon Bonaparte, the ambitious Corsican general who crowned himself Emperor of France, and Adolf Hitler, the Austrian-born dictator who plunged the world into darkness, both left an indelible mark on history. Both men rose to power in their respective countries during times of great upheaval, seizing the reins of power amidst the chaos. Napoleon, a brilliant military strategist, led France to dominate much of Europe, his ambition knowing no bounds. Hitler, fueled by a toxic ideology, sought to establish a Third Reich that would last 1,000 years. Both men, driven by a thirst for power and expansion, set their sights on Russia, a vast and unforgiving land. Napoleon's Grande Armée, initially triumphant, was decimated by the brutal Russian winter and the scorched earth tactics of the Russian army. Hitler, ignoring the lessons of history, would repeat this fateful mistake over a century later. Operation Barbarossa, Nazi Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union, ended in a similar catastrophic defeat. Adding to the intrigue, both Napoleon and Hitler met their downfall almost exactly 129 years apart. Chapter 6. The Bullet That Found Its Target. The American Civil War, a nation divided against itself, brother fighting brother in a conflict that would shape the future of the United States. Amidst the chaos and carnage of battle, stories of extraordinary survival and bizarre twists of fate emerged. Our next tale takes us to the heart of this conflict, where we encounter a soldier who seemingly cheated death only to be drawn back into its grasp. Picture this. The year is 1863 and the battle rages around him. A young soldier, caught in the heat of the moment, accidentally drops a bullet. The bullet, meant to find its mark in the enemy ranks, instead falls harmlessly to the ground. The soldier, surviving the skirmish, considers himself lucky, the lost bullet a mere footnote in the larger drama unfolding around him. But fate, it seems, had other plans. Sometime later, our soldier is wounded in battle, struck by what appears to be a stray bullet. As the medics tend to his wounds, imagine their astonishment when they discover the unbelievable. The bullet extracted from his body is the very same one he had dropped earlier in the battle. How could a single bullet, lost in the chaos of war, find its way back to the very soldier who had dropped it? Was it simply a freak accident, a one-in-a-million chance occurrence? Or was it something more, a sign that destiny, once set in motion, will find its course? Chapter 7. Edgar Allan Poe's Prediction. Edgar Allan Poe, the master of the macabre, the architect of nightmares, penned stories that continue to haunt readers to this day. But Poe's tales of horror weren't confined to the printed page. In a chilling case of life imitating art, one of his stories would foreshadow a real-life tragedy with uncanny accuracy. In 1838, Poe published The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym, a harrowing tale of shipwreck and survival. In a grim turn of events, the survivors, stranded at sea and facing starvation, are forced to make an unthinkable decision: to draw lots to determine who will be sacrificed to feed the others. The grim lottery selects a young cabin boy named Richard Parker. Decades later, in 1884, the unthinkable happened. The real-life ship Mignonette sank, leaving its crew stranded in a lifeboat. Just as in Poe's fictional account, the desperate survivors, driven to the brink by hunger and despair, resorted to cannibalism. And in a chilling parallel to Poe's tale, the victim chosen to be sacrificed was a young cabin boy named Richard Parker. The similarities between Poe's fictional account and the real-life tragedy are too striking to ignore. Was Poe's story a chilling premonition, a glimpse into a future tragedy, or was it simply a bizarre coincidence, a case of life imitating art in the most macabre way imaginable? Outro coincidence or something more? History is filled with moments that defy explanation. From eerily similar assassinations to unbelievable twists of fate, we've journeyed through time exploring some of the most incredible coincidences in history. Are they mere coincidences, or do they hint at something deeper, a hidden connection we can't quite grasp? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more amazing stories from the past. Subscribe for more incredible history and mind-blowing facts.